What's up guys, OpSoldier here today, and again we're gonna go over my favorite platform, Twitter. Now originally I was actually going to just completely uninstall Twitter, delete my account, but this seems to be a very good place to get a lot of information where I can talk about fighting games. So today I am going to show you guys a tweet that was made where I think we can make a really good point on how Mortal Kombat 11 was a very good testing ground for players and to learn what the community actually thinks about archetypes in fighting games. So this tweet was made by True Underdog. He says, "What do you never want to return in Mortal Kombat? Please reply. Here's my personal list so far. Things that should never return in Mortal Kombat. Guns, unless it's Striker or Aaron Black. Universal wake-ups, just too boring. Variations, more characters instead of classic, and all classic attacks. 5 guest characters, that's just too many. Tons of keep away, it's just not fun to watch." So here's the deal, guys. So I actually made my own list, and I'll go over that list kind of after we talk about this. So I want to touch on 2 big things that I noticed immediately from this post. Well, it's actually technically 3 big things, but we'll just go with the 2 big things on basically kind of my opinions that this game was definitely one of the best testing grounds for what people think about archetypes in fighting games. So first one is guns, unless it's Striker or Aaron Black. That one seems a little bit weird, right? Like, why would he mention guns? Like, why does that matter in Mortal Kombat? We've had guns in Mortal Kombat for years now. You know, Striker and Aaron Black definitely use them. Cassie is a newcomer that uses them now. But the thing is, it's related to his number 5 point, which is tons of keep away. It's just not fun to watch. Because the thing is, anytime you put something that fires a projectile or a character that uses some sort of fireball, there's a chance of keep away in fighting games. And I'm just going to be honest with you, people just don't like keep away. It doesn't matter how many times you try to explain to them that you've got teleports, you've got dive kicks, you've got characters that can jump full screen and jump over the fireball and just not care and instantly pressure you. You've got dash punches, you've got moves that literally don't care about projectiles like Jade's Glow and Shang's Smoke Parry. No one cares. They just don't want keep away. They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to find the counterplay to stop it, excuse me, really quick. They just don't want to deal with it. And this is because they want to play pressure characters. They want more pressure in their fighting games. They want games where you're not jockeying back and forth. They want range 0, I'm pressuring you, you have to guess. Once you make the guess, you're pressuring me back. That is what the players want. It's not about spacing. They just want to be in your face 24/7, right? And this is going to be really interesting because I think what's going to happen in the future, at least with Mortal Kombat, maybe not other fighting games, but definitely Mortal Kombat, maybe more legacy games will keep their zoning. Zoning is going to disappear. Zoning has been nerfed multiple times now. It's been nerfed in Mortal Kombat 11. It was really strong in Injustice 2, which I think is one of the main reasons people why it was nerfed in Mortal Kombat 11. But it can't get any more nerfed than it already is. Like, the zoning that's being done now, like, there's so many counters to it. There's flawless block, you know, that's a universal option. There's plenty of characters like Scorpion. You could just literally pick Scorpion and never have to really worry about zoning as much. Like, you're getting such a big reward for making a strong read on zoning. So like, there's all these answers to zoning. People also don't like zoning doing pushback. They want you to be able to throw a projectile and then eventually have to guess in neutral, when that's not what zoning is. Zoning's goal is to keep your opponent away. Like, your opponent has to make a read against zoning. If you're throwing a good example is Katana here, right? If you're throwing a fireball and the fireball doesn't do any pushback, eventually your opponent's going to get in. That's not zoning. That's not keeping someone out. Someone walking up and blocking is not keeping them out. So they want, you know, pushback, you know, removed. They want all the keep away options removed. My personal take on this is that, guys, once they remove zoning, they're gonna come for other stuff. You know, this doesn't just stop with keep away. The pressure players, the players who like pressure, and I'm sorry if I'm putting you in a box here, True Underdog, but you seem like someone that prefers, you know, range 0, pressure 24/7, you know, guess mix-ups kind of stuff. they're gonna come for you grapplers. Now, I've been playing characters like Kano lately. Kotal's kind of interesting. I don't think I'll ever play him, but he's an interesting character. He's definitely a grappler in MK11. They're going to come for these strong grapplers because pressure characters struggle against grapplers, because once their turn is finally over, or once you make the read, they get grabbed. They're either taking the grab or they're taking a combo string. My point is, people don't like the things that really counter them, right? They don't like the things that if they can't do their game plan 24/7, they don't like it. They don't want to have to deal with it. We have, to kind of put this into context, the top 5 characters, we have 3 of the top 5 characters as pressure characters or characters that play decent rushdown. I'm talking about Joker, Jackie, and Cabal. These are all really strong rushdown characters. Cabal is a perfect example of this. Cabal pretty much either goes 5/5 or beats Cetrion in MK11. So Cabal beats the top #1 character, and yet we're still saying that there's too much keep away in MK11. That's just not the case. The game is more focused on footsies and back-to-back. There is some zoning, but the zoning is not strong. People want to believe that, but that's not true. I'm calling it right now. Once they finally nerf zoning, because it will happen, grapplers, they are coming for you. You need to get ready. Already, we even saw in MK11, they nerfed throws. They nerfed a 14% throw to 13% throw. Obviously, they want to remove crushing blows, which I guess I'm okay with at this point. I just kind of, I keep trying to explain why they exist, but it's really not going to, I don't feel like my arguments hit home base. So they're going to nerf those. They might remove command grabs. I will not be surprised if in the next game, not this next game, but like the game after that, maybe they take away, you know, strong command grabs. Maybe the command grabs only do like 10% or something. Because I'm telling you, if you are not a pressure character, if you are not a character that does some sort of plus string or has an overhead low, yeah, because they like mix-up characters too. If you are not those two types of archetypes, your archetype is not liked. They do not want your archetype to exist. They want to remove as many of those archetypes as possible. I'm sorry, I'm not over exaggerating. Like I've heard this before. Like people will say, I just want one zoner in the entire game, which is insane. That's basically saying like all the zoners only get to pick one character, pretty much, or they're forced into pressure. So anyway, I want to go over kind of my list. So I went ahead and posted a list here. I said overhead low characters only with big drawbacks. No crazy neutral or overhead low Sub-Zero like characters, and more like Terminator. Because as we all know, Sub-Zero doesn't get zoned out, and he gets to ram 50/50s down your throat. So on top of that, he has a slide, an 11 frame slide that checks you in neutral. So as a zoner, you can't even throw projectiles without getting checked. So, you know, I'd prefer not to have characters like that. Like if a zoner is going to beat a character, they should, or a specific version of a character, like a specific type of character, then they should beat it, right? So Sub-Zero, either he should, let's say MK12 was taking all of MK11's concepts and putting it into MK12, I would say Sub-Zero should lose his overhead. He can keep the slide, he can keep the ice ball, he can be Sub-Zero, but he needs to lose that crazy mix-up that he just gets for free. And see how like this kind of conflicts with what people are telling you. Like as a zoner, I see the opposite. I can't zone Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero just gets to get in. I have to play I'm forced to play neutral. I can't keep him away, even as a character like Katana, right? So anyway, that's something I would remove. Another one is meter doesn't regen. I didn't like the meter regen, especially the wake up system. I know True Underdog, I know he mentioned also that meter, or not meter, but universal wake-ups are just too boring. I think that's not necessarily the problem, and this is kind of the third thing I wanted to talk about with you guys, is that universal wake-up options is actually better in the long run for games because characters have more options to deal with oppressive situations. But with that said, I don't think that meter should regen. I think you should have to earn your meter, so when you get that universal wake-up, you can't use it as often. Now, removing forward roll would also be a great option, but that's just taking MK11 and putting it into MK12. We all know that the next game is going to be completely different, so this is literally just mental masturbation. Anyway, the next one is just make every move one slot. Like, most of the issues that players have with characters in this game is just simply the moves aren't one slot. Like, if Frost could have Crown and Augur and Microburst, she would be a really good character. She would be able to do way more as a character, being able to set up Crowns, set up the Augur, and set up Microburst. That would give her much more advantage. Or she could even just take the Microburst, take the bombs, and then take some sort of neutral move like a dive bomb or something like that. Baraka could have a command grab, and he could have his launcher. You know, that wouldn't even make Baraka broken. Like, he would still get zoned out by a lot of characters. So just making every move one slot is a way easier solution to removing variations. Oh, actually, he did say variations. I'm sorry, I missed that. He said variations, so never mind. I thought he said remove variations for some reason. But yeah, I think that would be a really easy solution. Yeah, we could have the classic attacks. I don't mind that. I don't mind having them or not having them. I just want characters to have a function and have some sort of archetype to them. Another one is no breaker. So I am a huge proponent of not liking breaker. Breaker lets people get away with nonsense in MK. There were characters like Melina that could do ball roll in the neutral. They could zone you out forever, build the meter, and then just break. Something I really like about Strive is apparently, I haven't played too much of Strive yet, but you can bait out Burst, which is kind of like their breaker in the game. I think that is a really good solution, or just make it to where breakaway you can't punish someone off of breakaway. I don't see why that couldn't be something they could put into their games. It seems like a very easy solution to a very simple problem, but people just want breakaway gone. I don't understand this like mindset that like we need to just get rid of a concept entirely just because it wasn't implemented correctly. I could be wrong here, but that's just kind of my take. I just don't like breaker. I don't think breaker is a good solution. I think it allows people to get away with things and take dumb risks in games like Street Fighter and games like Strive. If you take a dumb risk and you either get baited out, or you take a dumb risk in Street Fighter, you're taking the damage. So that's just kind of my opinion on that. Another one is less guaranteed rushdown, like Jackie Briggs or Cabal. Now, I could change this up a little bit and just say make anti-airs more consistent. I wouldn't mind Jackie and Cabal leaping at you from full screen if you could actually anti-air them on a read that they're going to do a specific type of jump in. In this game, you cannot do that, even with a character like Frost with the best anti-airs. Jackie Briggs and Cabal get guaranteed pressure in a lot of situations. Thus, I don't understand the tons of keep away point. But yeah, they're like the epitome of just they get free pressure in a lot of situations against a lot of characters. So, and then finally, balance archetypes. We need a mix of zoners, grapplers, pressure characters, keep away, hybrids. We need all of it. We don't just need pressure, right? Like, people want 90% pressure characters and then like one grappler and one zoner. No, we need multiples. We need hybrid characters, we need pressure characters, we need grapplers, we need zoners, we need all of that. We need a mix of all of it. Maybe we have, like, let's say out of a group of characters we have more pressure characters than grapplers and zoners. That's fine, but limiting the game to one zoner, one grappler, one hybrid, I don't think is healthy for the game. This is a really common thing we see with people who like to MKX. They want characters that kind of all do the same thing, or if they're a hybrid character, they can all pressure you. I'm not a huge fan of that personally. I understand though, at the end of the day, it's all opinion, right? MK is going to do what MK does. Usually, MK gets supported based off of what fans have saying. If you go back and you look at from MK9 to now, people didn't like zoning in Injustice 2, so they took out the strong oppressive zoning, and people didn't like crazy 50-50 pressure. They didn't like the 50-50 coin toss. So what did they do in the next game? They made the game more neutral focused. They made it more Street Fighter-esque, more footsies, jockeying, stuff like that. So clearly they listen to the big community and they build their games off of that. So as a fighting game player, I'm naturally going to do what I have to do. As Brian F likes to say, I'm going to adapt. But I do think that a lot of the times, the things that people are asking for, like, they don't realize, like, they're either pigeonholing the game into one specific form of playstyle, which is not healthy for the game in the long run, or they're asking for something they don't like because they get it in the next game and then they don't like it. So that's just kind of my take on it as a fighting game player in general. Again, there's so many other fighting games out there. It's not the end of the world if MK12 doesn't turn out the way that I wanted to, but I do want to keep kind of expressing kind of what the OGs have said, because they haven't talked about this forever, and the small minority of players who do like different play styles that might be lame to the majority. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about today. I really want to get this out. Have fun playing fighting games. Have a good fight.